If you want to learn how to play voicings like that, I'll show you how in 4 simple steps. The harmonic language of jazz is comprised mostly of 6th chords, 7th chords and extended chords. While these chords are perhaps most known for their use in jazz music, you will also need them in many other styles, including gospel music, Latin music, funk or R&B. The first voicings you want to learn are one-hand close position voicings. These are often played with the right hand, while the left hand is playing a bass line, or with the left hand, while the right hand is playing a melody. There are different ways to construct these voicings. The one I would recommend, especially if you're new to these types of chords, is the following 4-step process. Step 1. You have to learn the following 4-note chord qualities. Major 7th chords, major 6th chords, dominant 7th chords, minor 7th chords, minor 7th fret 5 chords, minor major 7th chords, and minor 6th chords. These 7 chords make up the vast majority of the harmonic vocabulary of jazz. You'll find some others too, but these are the most important ones. If you're new to 7th and 6th chords, here's one way to approach it. Adding a major 7th to a major triad gives us a major 7th chord. Lowering the 7th of that chord by a half step gives us a dominant 7th chord. Lowering the 3rd of a dominant 7th chord by a half step gives us a minor 7th chord. Lowering the 5th of a minor 7th chord by a half step gives us a minor 7th fret 5 chord. Lowering the 3rd of a major 7th chord by a half step gives us a minor major 7th chord. And then we have 6th chords. If we add a major 6th to a major triad, we get a major 6th chord. And if we add a major 6th to a minor triad, we get a minor 6th chord. There's 2 ways I would practice these. One is to pick a root note, say F for example, and then build all the chord qualities on that note. Practice them in both hands like this. You can also practice them as arpeggios like this. And so on. The second way I would practice this is to pick a single chord quality, say minor 7th for example, and then play that shape in all keys. Chromatically, or around the cycle of 5th. So now that we know the basic chord shapes we're working with, it's time to look at their inversions. 4-note chords have 4 different inversions. Root position, which has the root at the bottom. First inversion, which has the 3rd at the bottom. Second inversion, which has the 5th at the bottom. And third inversion, which has the 7th at the bottom. All of them are important, but the types of voicing we're looking to create are most commonly based on 1st and 3rd inversion, so we'll focus on those 2. In jazz education, voicings that have the 3rd at the bottom are often referred to as A voicings, and ones that have the 7th at the bottom are referred to as B voicings. So, step 2 is complete when you can play all 7 of our chord qualities in 1st and 3rd inversion in either hand. Here are a few examples. Step 3 is to substitute some of our chord tones with other, more colorful ones. Specifically, first we're going to replace the root of all of our chords with the major 9th. In jazz arranging, this is called 9 for 1, and all we need to do is move the root of the chord up a whole step. Here are a few examples. But Christian, don't I need the root of the chord in the voicing for it to sound like, that chord? Not necessarily. First of all, the root is often supplied by the piano player's left hand, while the voicing is played by the right hand. You can also alternate between playing the root in a low register and then playing the chord higher up. This is called stride piano. If there's a bass player, they will usually provide the missing root. There's also context. In the styles that use these kinds of voicings, our ears can fill in the root of the chord based on the overall harmonic context. These rootless voicings, as they are called, are one of the things that distinguishes jazz music from other genres. In most pop music, for example, somebody is always playing the root of the chord. So the 9-for-1 substitution works with all the chord qualities. There's also 13-for-5, where we replace the fifth with the note a step above it. This one only works with major 7th and dominant chords. Here are some examples. Step 4, alterations, is optional but very common, and it applies mainly to dominant 7th chords. Both the 9th and the 13th in our 4-note voicings can be altered chromatically to increase dissonance. The major 9th that we've been using can be moved up a half step to an augmented 9th, or sharp 9 in jazz vernacular, or down a half step to a minor 9th, or flat 9. The major 13th can be moved down a half step to a minor 13th or flat 13. We can alter either just the 9th or the 13th, or we can alter both in the same voicing. Here are some examples. The only other commonly used alteration is sharp 11-for-5 in major 7th chords. Here are some examples. I want to mention two more important variations. On minor 7th fret 5 chords, it is very common to use root position and second inversion, and then replace the third with the note a whole step higher. There's a whole semi-complicated explanation for this, which I will spare you. Just know that the following two voicings are among the most commonly played for minor 7th fret 5 chords. And secondly, in A position voicings, the ones that have the third at the bottom, the fifth is often left out, leaving only 3 notes, like so. And in B position voicings, the ones that have the 7th at the bottom, if they have a 13th at the top, the 9th is often left out, once again creating a 3-note voicing, like so. As an example of how to apply these chords in an actual song, here are the first 8 bars of the jazz standard Misty, voiced with these 4-note voicings. And that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments, consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and I'll see you next time. Bye.